Hello dear students, welcome to the first session of your elective paper Corporate Secretaryship. Here in this session, I am going to discuss about the concepts included in the first chapter, that is Introduction. So let's see what are the concepts included in this chapter. First, we are going to discuss about meaning of corporate secretary, followed by his qualification, then regarding the legal position, appointment of corporate secretary, role of corporate secretary in a company, and then about the removal or dismissal of corporate secretary. So these are the concepts included in the first chapter which I am going to cover in this session. But before I take up all these concepts, let me give you a brief idea about corporate secretary, who is also called company secretary. Company secretary is a senior official in a company who advises the board of directors as to how to comply with various laws laid down by the Companies Act from time to time. That is why he is also called as the compliance officer. Now the question is, why a company should appoint company secretary or corporate secretary? Is it compulsory or optional? The first reason is that, as you know, that now the companies are regulated by Companies Act of 2013, which has made very stringent rules and regulations to be followed by the companies. And if any company fails to comply with those rules, then such company will have to pay huge penalty to the government. So in order to avoid paying huge penalty, it becomes necessary for a company to appoint corporate secretary who will guide and advise the company in all the legal formalities to be followed and also take the company in the right direction. The second reason is that Companies Act of 2013 has made it mandatory, rather compulsory, for every company having a capital of more than 5 crore to appoint the corporate secretary. So wherever the company's capital is more than 5 crore, they will not have any option. They have to compulsorily appoint the company secretary or corporate secretary. Then the third reason is that Companies Act of 2013 has laid down the concept of key managerial personnel. Here, the key managerial personnel means group of people without whom a company cannot operate its business. That key managerial personnel include Chief Executive Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Company Secretary and the whole-time director. This point makes it very clear that company secretary or corporate secretary is the key managerial personnel without whom a company cannot operate its business. So these are the important points which tells us that it is very much necessary for a company to appoint company secretary in order to comply with all the rules and regulations laid down by Companies Act. Now with this introduction, let's see what is the exact meaning of company secretary or corporate secretary as per the Companies Act. The word secretary is derived from the Latin word secretarius, which means confidential officer. So the person who is appointed as a company secretary or corporate secretary, he is expected to maintain confidentiality with regard to all the official matters. That is why he is also called as the confidential officer of the company. Now let's see one definition given under section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act of 1956. It says that a company secretary is a person who is a member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India or any other individual possessing the prescribed qualifications appointed to perform the duties and managerial functions that are delegated to him by the board. So this definition means that a company secretary is a person who is a member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India. How you have a board for chartered accountants of India, in the same way there is an institute for company secretaries which is called Institute of Company Secretaries of India. So the person who is appointed as a corporate secretary, he has to be a member of this particular institute, that is Institute of Company Secretaries of India. If not, okay, then he can be any other individual, but he has to possess the prescribed qualifications. So where that qualifications are prescribed, it is in the Companies Act. Okay, in the Companies Act they have mentioned some of the qualification to become the company secretary. So if he is not a member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, then he has to possess any one of the qualification to become the company secretary, which is mentioned in the Companies Act. Okay, and then after he is appointed, he has to perform the duties and managerial functions that are delegated to him by the board. Okay, the board of directors will appoint the company secretary and they will delegate all the duties and managerial functions which the company secretary has to perform as per the instructions of the board of directors. Okay, so this is the meaning of the definition which is given under section 2 subsection 45 of the Companies Act of 1956. Now let's consider the second definition. The Companies Act of 1956 as amended by the Amendment Act of 1988 defines a secretary as any individual possessing the prescribed qualifications appointed to perform the duties which may be performed by a secretary under the Act and any other ministerial and administrative duties. Okay, so here this definition also means that secretary can be any individual possessing the prescribed qualifications. So whatever the qualification prescribed under the Companies Act, any one of that qualification must be possessed by the individual. Then he would become the company secretary, or he can be appointed as a company secretary. After he is appointed as a company secretary, he is supposed to perform all the duties which may be performed by a secretary under the Act. How the qualifications are specifically mentioned in the Companies Act, in the same way, whatever the duties the secretary has to perform, that is also specifically stated in the Companies Act. So after a person is appointed as a company secretary, he is supposed to perform all the duties of the secretary which is mentioned under the Act, and along with that he would also perform other ministerial and administrative duties. Okay, so this is the meaning of the definition which is given under Amendment Act of 1988. So therefore, secretary, in simple words we can say that secretary is one of the principal officers of the company with the requisite qualifications. Requisite means required qualification to undertake secretarial work and the management of affairs of the company as per the provisions of the Act and also as per the instructions laid down by the board of directors. So when a individual is appointed as a secretary, company secretary or corporate secretary, he is supposed to perform all the duties of a secretary. Along with that, he has to also manage the affairs of the company, which is as per the provisions of the Act as well as per the instructions given by the board of directors. However, the board of directors cannot alter the duties of secretary as they are determined by law. Just now I told you that the duties of secretary, it is specifically stated in the Companies Act. So when it is determined by law, the board of directors cannot alter that. Okay, only they can give the instructions and they can ask the company secretary to perform the duties as per their instruction, but they cannot alter the duties of a company secretary. Okay, let's move on to the next concept, that is qualifications of the company secretary. So here we are going to discuss what are the qualifications required to be appointed as a company secretary. Any individual possessing any one of the following qualifications may be appointed as a whole-time secretary in a company to perform the duties of a secretary. So there are 9 options available for an individual who would like to become the company secretary. If he possesses any one of the qualifications, then he is eligible to be appointed as a company secretary. The first point says he must be a member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India. So if an individual possesses the membership of Institute of Company Secretaries of India, then he is eligible to be appointed as a company secretary. Then the second option available is he must have passed in the intermediate examination conducted by the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Okay. Then the third option is postgraduate degree in commerce or corporate secretaryship awarded by any university in India. Fourth one, degree in law awarded by any university. Fifth one, membership of the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants of India. The sixth one, membership of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Then seventh one, postgraduate in company law and secretarial practice granted by University of Udaipur. Eighth option available is membership of the Association of Secretaries and Manager, Calcutta. And the last option available is Diploma in Corporate Laws and Management granted by Indian Law Institute, New Delhi. So these are the 9 options available if someone wants to become the company secretary. If you possess any one of this qualification, then you are eligible to become the company secretary. Okay. Then let's take up the next concept, that is legal position of the secretary, which means that in the eyes of law, what is the position of a secretary when he is appointed as a corporate secretary in a company. The Company Act has recognized The secretary as the principal officer of the company and is responsible for secretarial and other purely ministerial and administrative work of the company. In the previous slide, while discussing the definition and meaning, we have discussed that whenever an individual is appointed as a company secretary, he has to perform the duties of secretarial work as well as ministerial and administrative work. Okay, so he is responsible for carrying out secretarial, purely ministerial and administrative work of the company. Along with that, he has to also file various returns and statements with the registrar of companies as per the requirements of the Companies Act. If he fails to fulfill all these statutory obligations, then he will be held responsible for such default. Okay, so whatever the work he has to perform, that is specifically stated, whatever the duties he has to perform, that is specifically stated in the Companies Act, and all the provision says whatever the duties of secretarial work in nature or ministerial work in nature or administrative work in nature, whatever he has to perform, that is specifically mentioned in the act. If he fails to fulfill these statutory obligations, then he will be held responsible for such default, not the company. Okay, then let's take up the next concept, that is regarding the appointment of a company secretary. So while appointing a company secretary, they have to follow several rules. Okay, let's discuss one by one. The procedure for appointing a company secretary other than the first secretary is as follows. Okay, whenever the company goes for appointing the company secretary, they have to follow all these rules and regulations. Okay, first point says a resolution has to be passed at the board of directors meeting appointing a secretary on certain terms and conditions of the appointment, including remuneration. Okay, whenever a person has to be appointed as a company secretary, they have to pass a resolution. Okay, resolution in the board of directors meeting about appointing a company secretary, and along with that they should also mention on what terms and condition that particular person is appointed as a company secretary, and that terms and condition must also include the terms relating to his remuneration, that is whatever the salary to be payable to the person who is appointed as a company secretary, that must also be mentioned in the terms and conditions. Okay, so this point says that, let's come again, a resolution has to be passed at the board of directors meeting appointing a secretary on certain terms and conditions of the appointment, including remuneration. Then the second point says the particulars of appointment must be filed in duplicate with the registrar within 30 days of appointment. Okay, whenever the board passes resolution in the board of directors meeting, so after he is appointed, 2 copies of the resolution has to be filed with the registrar of companies within 30 days of appointment. Then the third procedure says the person appointed as a secretary functions as a secretary in any other company. He should notify the other company within 20 days of his appointment. Okay, let us consider that there is one person who is already working as a company secretary for some other company. Now he would like to join our company. Then what he has to do, after he is appointed as a company secretary in our company, he has to give notice of his resignation in the other company where he was working earlier, because at a time one person, one individual can be the company secretary of only one company. Okay, he cannot be the company secretary of 2 companies unless it is a subsidiary company. The fourth point says any director interested in the appointment of secretary must disclose his intent and must not take part in the discussion or voting on the resolution. Okay, out of the board of directors, if any one of the directors would like to become the company secretary where he has the prescribed qualification and also eligibility and also is willing to become the company secretary, then he must express his idea. Okay, or he must express his willingness to become the company secretary. In such a case, he would not take part in the discussion or voting on the resolution of appointing the company secretary. Okay, he should be kept away from the discussion and also voting right at the time of passing the resolution. Then the next point says if the person appointed as the secretary is the director of the company or he is the relative of the director, a special resolution has to be passed in the general board meeting for such an appointment. Okay, if they are going to appoint any other individual who is from the outside company, then ordinary resolution would be sufficient in the board of directors meeting. But if they are going to appoint one of the directors as the secretary, or they are going to appoint the relative of the director as a company secretary, then there is a need for passing the special resolution in the general board meeting, okay, for such an appointment. Then the sixth point says, after passing the board resolution, the following forms have to be filed with the registrar of companies. So they have to file three forms here. The first one is DIR 12 for the appointment of company secretary within 30 days of appointment. Okay. Then the second one is MGT 14 within 30 days of passing the board resolution. And the third form is MR1 for the appointment of key managerial personnel within 60 days of passing the board resolution. Okay. So these are the 6 points with regard to appointment of company secretary. Okay, they have to follow all these rules and regulations while appointing a company secretary. Now let us take up the next concept. That is role of corporate secretary. The first point says corporate secretary is a vital link between the company and its board of directors, shareholders, government, regulatory authorities and other stakeholders. That is why a corporate secretary or company secretary is also called as the face of the company, because he acts as a mediator or link between the company with that of its stakeholders, be it be board of directors, shareholders, government, regulatory authorities and other kinds of stakeholders. Okay. Then the second point says he ensures that the board of directors or the board of management follows all the procedures and regularly it is reviewed. Okay, whatever the procedure they follow, it is regularly reviewed, and also he provides the guidance to the chairman as well as the other directors on their responsibilities under the various laws. Okay, he guides the chairman as well as the board of directors with regard to the responsibilities which they have to carry out under the various laws applicable to the company. Okay, then the third point says he assists the board in the conduct of affairs of the company, which means that in the previous slide we have seen he is responsible for carrying out the secretarial work, administrative work and ministerial work. So that is why he assists or helps the board of management in the conduct of affairs of the company. Then the next point says he ensures and complies with the corporate governance. This is the main role played by the corporate secretary. He is responsible and it is his duty to see that the corporate governance is complied with by the company. Okay. Then the next point says ensuring that the company complies with the secretarial standards. Okay. He is responsible to ensure that the company is following all the secretarial standards given under the Companies Act. Next point says the company secretary coordinates the management functions and the company's policies. So he is responsible to see that the management functions and the company policies are well coordinated in order to carry out the affairs of the company in a smooth way. Along with that, he also has to keep an eye on the ethics and mutual trust. He has to ensure that the company is following all the business ethics which are stated in the law, and also he has to ensure that there is a strong mutual trust between the company with that of its stakeholders. He also helps in strategic decision making, in the sense he assists the board of directors whenever they take the strategic decision, and thereby he helps in taking the company towards excellence. Okay. Then the next point says corporate secretary is often termed as the conscience keeper of the company. Let's understand why he is called as the conscience keeper. He is responsible to ensure that all legal requirements in respect of various laws are complied with. So it is the work of the corporate secretary to see that the company is following all the legal requirements. It is complying with all the legal requirements under the various laws, and thereby the company is termed as a good corporate citizen, fulfilling all its social obligations as well. So company, whenever it fulfills all the legal requirements and social obligations, business ethics, then that particular company will be termed as a good corporate citizen. So it is the work of the corporate secretary to see that the company gets such name to be a good corporate citizen. So these are the roles played by the corporate secretary whenever he is appointed as a corporate secretary in a company. Okay. Then the last concept in this chapter is with regard to the removal or dismissal of the corporate secretary. Previous slide we discussed about qualification to become the corporate secretary, and also how an individual will be appointed as a corporate secretary and what are the procedures a company has to follow while appointing the corporate secretary. Now in the end of this chapter, we are going to discuss what is the procedure for removal or dismissal of the corporate secretary. A company secretary can be removed or dismissed like other employees. So here, whenever an individual is appointed as a corporate secretary, he is just like any other employee. He does not become the employer. Okay, he is also an employee. Like how other employees are removed, corporate secretary can also be dismissed or removed from the company. Okay, since he is appointed by the board, the removal can also be done only by the board. So as we discussed in the previous slide, whenever a person is appointed as a corporate secretary, they have to they have to pass a resolution in the board of directors. In the same way, while removing or dismissing the corporate secretary also, it has to be done by the board itself, the board of management itself. Other people cannot do that. The removal has to be done in accordance with the employment agreement. We also discussed in the appointment stage that whenever he is appointed, there has to be terms of conditions, there has to be an agreement on which basis he is appointed. In the same way, while removing, they have to ensure that they are following all the terms and conditions stated in the agreement while removing him. Okay, and a resolution has to be passed from the board while removing the board of directors. So it is the work of the board of directors to remove that, and whenever they remove, they have to pass a resolution in the board of directors meeting for the removal of corporate secretary. And there is need for clear and sufficient reason for the removal. Just like that, they cannot remove the corporate secretary. There has to be a proper reason for the removal or dismissal of corporate secretary. Principles of natural justice is to be followed. So he should be given a chance for here. So he should be given a chance to express the reason for his misconduct or misappropriation, whatever it is, before directly removing him. So natural justice has to be followed. A secretary, whenever he is appointed for a fixed period, can also be removed. Suppose a company is appointing one person today as a corporate secretary for some 5 years. So after 3 years, he is involving in some misappropriation or fraud. Then though he is appointed for 5 years, so before completion of that fixed period, that person can be removed from the post of corporate secretary. Okay. Then, if a secretary resigns or is removed, the change must be filed with the registrar of companies within 30 days in the e-form. Okay, whenever the company is removing or he is dismissed, or the company secretary itself is resigning from the post of corporate secretary, whatever the change they are going to do in the company, that should be filed with the registrar of companies within how many days? Within 30 days in the e-form. Okay, so this is regarding the various concepts included in your first chapter, that is introduction. I will share this PPT for you for your reference. So let us meet up in the next video where we are going to take up the second chapter. Thank you for watching.